Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about JavaScript best practices, and I will continue from where I left in the previous video. In this video, I'm going to talk about these four good practices that we should follow whenever we are writing code in the JavaScript language. And so I'm going to start from the first one. So we have an HTML page, and the first one is don't declare variable without using the var keyword. So many times I have seen people creating new variables without using the var keyword. So what will happen is, what we should do is we should always create a variable using the var keyword, and then we should assign some value to it. But oftentimes what people do is they simply omit the var keyword and they create a new variable. Now this code will work, because what will happen is whenever we will try to create a variable without using the var keyword, then this value will be added as a property to the global scope or to the window object. Now it doesn't matter from where we are creating, or from where we are trying to create a new variable without using the var keyword. The thing is, whenever we try to create a variable without using this keyword, then this will be added as a property to the window, irrespective of the place where we are doing it. So even if we are doing if even if we are writing this kind of code in a function or in the global scope, or maybe inside another script, or maybe in a self-executing function, it doesn't matter from where we are uh, calling this code, this value will always get added as a property to the window object. So never try to create a variable without using the var keyword, because uh, this will not be a variable, this will be a property, and it will simply pollute the global scope. It will create more problems for our application, because it might overwrite some other property with the same name. So this is a very bad practice, and we should always make sure that we are not creating variables in this way. Okay, so the second one is don't mix HTML and JavaScript. Now this one is very important. So what happens is, I'm just going to remove this code, and so let's add an anchor link with an empty href value, and the caption or the title of this anchor is click me. Now what what we will do is, we just have to we just have to wire up a click event with this anchor. Now the shortest way to do it is to simply set the click set the code of the click event inside the element itself. So we could do something like this, and then later we could return false so that the page would not refresh. But this is a very bad practice, simply because we are basically merging or combining the JavaScript code with the HTML elements. What we should instead do is we should assign an ID to this anchor. So let's call it lnk click, or let's just simply remain with the lnk click. And then in the JavaScript code, what we can do is we can simply first find this element using the id value, and then we can simply set the click event, and we can wire up the event with an anonymous function, and then inside the function we can write the code that we want to invoke when the click event is fired. So this approach is not very good, because uh, it gets very confusing when we want to debug the events. So the debugger will not be very easy to follow when the code is merged inside the HTML elements. So don't do this, always try to get the reference of the element by using its ID or by using its tag name, and then assign a function uh, to the events. And what else we can do is, if we want to raise a single function for many different elements, uh, f- then we can either find all the elements using the tag name, or we can assign an attribute, a common attribute to all the elements, and then we can use a jQuery selector to get all the element references, and then we can bind the click event. So I'm again repeating this: never ever merge or mix the JavaScript code with the HTML elements. Although this approach could not be followed for some libraries like AngularJS, because the structure of Angular is such that we have to write code logic inside the HTML elements. But for other scenarios or for other cases, it is best not to mix things up. And the third one is if condition comparison. Now this one is also very confusing, and it is the reason for many bugs in our code. So what will happen is, let's suppose that we have a variable which says, I don't know, let's call it flag, and let's set this flag as true, and then I am just going to write something to the console if this flag is true. So there are two ways in which I can do that. The first is I have to either use 2 equals to with that, and then I can simply write in the if block console dot log, and then I can print out some message. But the thing is that this double equals to operator is not going to be sufficient when the types of these two values is different. So we should always use the triple equals to operator, because it will not, this operator will not try to typecast the values to to check if their values are equal or not. So as an instance, let's suppose that we are not comparing the value of flag with the true value. We are simply comparing, let's say, 0 with an blank string. Now this will return true because the blank string uh, will evaluate to a false value, and the 0 will also evaluate to a false value. But in reality, these two values are not same. But if we are using a triple equals to, then this will be a false, and this code will not execute. But when there are only two equals to, or when there is a double equals to operator, then this code will get called, because false equals to false is true. So yes, this code will get called. Alright, now let's move on to no eval. So I'm not really sure if you are aware of eval or not, but if you are aware of eval, and if you are currently using eval in any of your application, then please stop doing that, because eval uh, will hinder your application performance in a worst possible way, because eval simply uh, tries to execute the code, and the code execution by using eval is very slower as compared to the code which is being executed by the compiler. And eval also poses several security risks for us, because whatever code which is written inside the eval block will get executed, and any malicious user can use the eval code block to his advantage. So never use eval block. Okay, so these were another 4 best practices which we could follow when we are coding in the JavaScript language. So I will post another video with some more good practices. So, and I hope that you like this video, and thank you for hearing me. Have a good day.